WV Uncommon Place. This podcast is a variety podcast that houses numerous series to cover mental health, empowerment, podcast framework, and various intimate theories to get to know the hosts. Along with occasional movies reviews and dives in pop culture with our event podcast episodes. The Uncommon Place digs into bringing guests on that stories don't fit the mold and are very different. WV stands for the great state of West Virginia, and every quarter we cover something in West Virginia. Stacey and myself, JR, are your hosts, so please come along for this venture to our Uncommon Place.
Welcome to West Virginia Uncommon Place. Today I have with me Brad Minus. Brad, please tell us about yourself and why you're here today.
Oh, thanks, JR. I really appreciate it. My name is Brad Minus. I am an endurance coach. I coach anything from marathons to Ironman to ultramarathons, which are races over 50 miles in the trails, 100 milers, 135 milers. I also help people get through Spartan races, and obstacle course races like the Spartan race. But my bread and butter is long distance running and triathlon.
Okay, so what did you get your start in doing long distance running? Was it cross country? What started you out?
Interesting question. There's quite a tale about that, and I'll try to condense it as much as I possibly can.
Okay.
So I was in the military for 9.5 years, and I did one marathon, but it started just being because I was in the military, right? We're doing 3 miles, 4 miles, depending on what's going on in PT. Then I decided to do a marathon. After that marathon, I basically said, never again. I'm never going to freaking do another marathon. Moving forward, after the 9.5 years in, I got out. 3 years later, I was working kind of like a workaholic, actually. And I took a blood test as a regular physical, and my doctor said, what is going on with you? I've never seen this be so bad, you know? Your triglycerides are up, your cholesterol is high, you got to do something. So I went to a gym, and there was a boot camp class. So I started going to a boot camp class, and then somebody in the boot camp class said, hey, we're doing the Chicago Marathon for polycystic kidney disease. Now, I already knew that. I said to myself, you're never doing another one of those again. But because of the cause, I wanted to. So I went and trained for it. Unfortunately, 2 weeks prior to the marathon, I was in that boot camp class, and I ended up bulging and slipping my L5S1.
Oh, Lord.
Right, to a point where both my orthopedic surgeon and my neurosurgeon both said I'd never run again. Maybe I would possibly be able to do a warm-up on a treadmill, but I basically would never be able to do that long of a distance again. Well, that was 38 marathons, 5 Ironmans, 51 half marathons, a ton of other races ago. So I proved them wrong. And then I started teaching people and coaching people into doing what I do, and even beyond what I do.
All right, so let's do this for the podcasters real quick. So how did you get entrapped in the world of podcasting?
That's also interesting. I always wanted to learn about it, and I came across John Lee Dumas.
Okay.
And I got involved with Podcasters Paradise.
Okay.
And I followed the instructions of John Lee Dumas, and it was great. And that led me to Podfest. So I started getting more and more. Involved in it, and now I've been speaking at Podfest for 5 times, 6 times now. I've been sharing some secrets on video.
Yes.
So in the midst of all that, I also started a YouTube channel called Fitness Forever TV with a tagline of because age is only a number.
Right.
And it was kind of geared toward over 40 and just staying fit. I had a partner. My partner was a certified personal trainer. I was a endurance athlete and an endurance coach, and between the two of us, it was just a great fit. Unfortunately, that partnership dissolved. I'm still trying to upload as much as I can, but it's tough. It's nice when you've got somebody else there to bounce stuff off of, and it's very easy for episodes to kind of extend and become more interesting. But then I learned how to video edit, and then I started doing video editing for healthcare companies, and I started doing podcast consulting. That just came in from my friends during COVID. They were like, hey, can you listen to this? And I would listen to it. I'd give them some pointers, and they're like, wow, that's really cool. And so then people start saying, hey, can you take a look at this episode? Tell me what you think. And I don't get a lot of money for it. I usually if it's somebody I don't know, I'm like, hey, give me $50. If it's somebody I know, buy me a beer, that type of thing. But I enjoy doing that because I get to get more knowledge on how people's styles are for podcasting, and I get to help them out making their podcasts sound more professional and be the best they possibly can.
All right, so let me get you to do something that's very nostalgic on the show. Do a shameless plug real quick. Let everybody know where they can meet and greet you across the internet and where they can get your services from.
Sure. So I have a website. It's innerfireendurance.com, and they can always reach me on any social channel at Brad A-.
Okay.
All one word.
Now, one thing that we do on the show is we pay homage to a news magazine called 2020. John Stossel was the comedic relief on there. Diane Sawyer was the poignant person that was interviewing it. And I love Barbara Walters because I'm about to talk about her, late great Barbara Walters. What Barbara Walters did is she made people personable. Now, there's two things that could happen in an interview with her. It could go over to 11:05, which means the news network really liked what she was doing, or it can cut off at 11 o'clock. But as a child, at 5 and 6 years old at that time, I would listen. And then sometimes I would wonder about it, and it would stop me from watching cartoons in the morning if it was something that was too trivial for my mind at that time. So right now, Brad, you are on the spot. Are you ready for your 2020 questions?
Sure.
All right, here's your first question. Now, you are a motivator. You're a person that had a little adversity. You moved up from it. So what is the strategy, not the advice, but what is the strategy to be like you? Not asking for advice, but what is the strategy? What is the Brad Minus strategy?
It comes from a quote that I give my clients all the time. Your brain will quit 100 times before your body does.
Okay, and I like that. Now, on to the next question, because we're going to get a little deeper. Now, you've been a podcaster, you've been a motivational speaker to a degree, you are not to a degree, you are a one, and you are a public speaker. When you get on a stage at Podfest and you see that one person in the crowd that just doesn't feel like they belong there, what do you do to help that person feel good about themselves in this instance? That the information they're getting from you is a value for value. You're sitting in that chair, I'm giving you the value will come to you. So what is the Brad Minus effect right there? How do you do that?
Seek them out with my eyes. And I look at them, especially if I know that they're not actually getting they're not actually getting what I'm putting down, right? So I look at them and then I ask for questions with kind of zeroed in, big smile on my face to say, hey, I'm welcoming you in. If you have a question, because it doesn't look like you're understanding something, I would really like you to ask it. I don't force it, but I try to let them in. And 9 times out of 10, it works.
Okay. Now here's my next question. This is the final one of the 2020. Now you have a way to strive and thrive with success. I need to know your definition of what success is. And let me give you a little filler. For me, it's doing just a little bit better than whatever I did yesterday. Because some things we do are repeat processes, so I don't need success in those things because that's something I have to do. But the little things that I do different, that were different from the day before, that's a success to me. Not being, I don't put a monetary value or anything like that on it. It's just personal growth. That's what I look for.
For me, it's smiling when I cross the finish line, whether it be a task, a race, or whatever. It's the fact that I know that I put everything out there, and the accomplishment level, when I cross the finish line, I got a big smile on my face. I know I did my best. I know I did everything that I could possibly do, and I left everything on the course or in the task or whatever I'm doing.
Okay, now the last part of this, we do a little quick role play. Now, you've done these talks, and you've probably already done a TED Talk, but we're going to just role play like you, so you haven't done one. Give me the opening intro of your TED Talk when you get time to do it.
Interesting question.
You need a little filler right now?
No, I think I got it.
Okay.
All right, so everybody's seen weight loss programs. Everybody's seen ways to get fit, way to get your abs. But 95% of people fail at those. Why is that? I'm here to talk to you about a way to challenge yourself and get those results on the way to finishing your challenge, not going for those results as a goal. Change the goal, change the paradigm, and find what you're looking for on the way.
And I like that. And I thank you for that. And with everybody that does content creation, we have people that have helped us in the background, or someone at some point or a moment that they made with us to help us get to that point. Do you have anybody you want to give their flowers to or a shout out to that have helped you along the way?
That has helped me along the way. Well, let me give a shout out to Mander's Mindset podcast. We met on Wednesday. Amanda Russo. She's been somebody that I've been able to count on while I've been here. Someone to bounce some ideas off of. She's in return bounced some ideas off of me, and it's just been made the experience for Podfest, which has always been wonderful, is step up.
Okay, and I like that. So once again, I'm JR.
Brad Minus.
And we're signing off.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at oncommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website, and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening, and tune into the next episode.